Hey guys, welcome back to the Nostalgia Tour. This is going to be the second game between Gretorp and Horror. We have Gretorp starting in the bottom right-hand corner as the purple Terran. Bottom left-hand corner, we have Horror starting as the orange Terran, interestingly enough, maybe switching it up. I'm used to seeing Horror playing Zerg, but it looks like this is going to again be on Nostalgia. And TVT, what usually happens is you'll see a vulture fight. And it's basically a vulture fight because you don't have gas on your secondary, and then it becomes issues over this ramp. So you go early vultures, you go early mines, you try to go as many factories as you can maintain off one base. You try to secure your secondary once you get some vulture position, and beyond that, really whoever has position after that tends to win the game. It's kind of weird because it's almost destination-esque in the regard because you have those ramps, but because you don't have that gas at the secondary, it just really mixes up and puts a huge emphasis on the early game. You basically have to go all in towards the early, basically your early build, and beyond that, kind of have to last out and hope you have the better all-in build going into the mid game. I think it's possible to go dropship here and there, but it's very, very dangerous. Again, that's gas expenditure, so you can hold back against a vulture rush, try to hold your ramp, go dropship, get it across the map, and do some economic damage, but essentially it's very, very tricky to pull off. Gretorp is an excellent player. I could see him pulling that off. He's kind of creative and mixed in there. He's been playing extremely well lately. I'd have to say he's actually one of the better Terrans in the United States currently. Horror on the opposite side. I'm actually not sure where he's ranked in Germany as far as the overall. He's basically, I would say, probably one of the best Terran. He's one of the most well-known Terran for sure in Germany. I'm just not as familiar with the Terran players. Looks like he's going to go for both players going for kind of a pseudo front door seal. I take it back. Barracks at the off position. It could be for scouting purposes. We'll see. But yeah, generally, quick gas. Right off the bat, well, Terran versus Terran. We'll see momentarily. Yeah, both players not doing anything too cheesy here. What I'm kind of curious to see is if any player does in fact try to go for tanks, because tanks, first of all, again, very vulnerable to the vultures, very vulnerable to the mines. But if it does turn into a tank dropship match, it's kind of funny because you really have to invest your gas extremely wisely, because it's one direction or the other, one too many dropships or one too many tanks, or a dropship at the wrong time or a tank at the wrong time, and that'll essentially be the match. Both players running out to scout. Let's see who's going to get the scouting advantage. It looks like Gretorp is going to end up scouting Horror last. Horror doing the clockwise searching pattern, so he's also going to end up scouting dead last. So neither player going to get really the advantage off the scout. I'm kind of curious which player is going to be the aggressor, which one's going to be the defender, and if we're going to see any variance in the build. There's the first factory being planted from Gretorp. It looks like we already have an SCV in position to produce a factory in the opposite side for Horror, so it looks like pretty standard builds, at least this far. This is actually pretty standard straight throughout Terran versus Terran. Between the two, I'm actually not sure who to favor here. Honestly, I'm not as familiar with Horror's style as I am Gretorp, because Gretorp tends to be pretty solid all around. He's been one of the great players for Team Light for quite some time. Special shout out to them. And again, special shout out actually to Xerus and Duran for getting me these replays. Looks like SCVs coming across each other mid-map. Single Marine being planted to kind of hold the ramp on both sides. Looks like additional Marines being produced here from Gretorp, so it's possible he's going to do something pseudo fast expansionist, or he just wants to get aggressive right off the bat. I can't imagine him going for I can't imagine either player going for a fast expansion right off the bat, because I really just don't think it's worthwhile, especially not getting that second gas that lets you produce additional vultures, additional marines, and really that's it. It's not the same thing as having a vulture otherwise. And it looks like we are going to see a starport from Gretorp, so I think what he's going to attempt to do is he's going to try to do the hold position here and transition into a dropship into Horror's base. Let's see what Horror decides to do on the opposite end. I assume he's actually going to go for an expansion, which is going to be very, very dangerous. SCV Scout getting held up quite a bit, and I really think this is a big mistake from Horror. I wonder if this is just due to unfamiliarity with the map. Very nice scouting block, however, but really this base does not really pay off as well. You do end up getting a superior economy, but you only get minerals again. You don't get additional gas, so it's really stuck down to vultures, and it looks like two Marines starting to press to the forward position. There's a single Marine here just defending on the front. Looks like a vulture will be out with the spider mines to try to counter that. It looks like a siege tank being built on the opposite end, and this is interesting play from Gretorp altogether. He's going to go for a Wraith to start, which he's really expending his gas very quickly. He needs to be very careful pulling a build like this, because he could end up just getting starved out in the long game. So he needs to make sure that these units pay off right off the bat immediately. Let's see if he can hide these Marines. Is he going to be able to hide them from this vulture? The vulture looks like it's going to turn around and start hunting, and this is critical. Again, early game minerals, absolutely everything. And wow, interesting rush build here from Gretorp, bringing two SCVs off the line, a single siege tank, and two Marines otherwise. Second factory now being planted, some additional vultures being pressed, and it looks like we are going to see that secondary get up for Horror, but the Wraith now in transition, and this is really, I think this is really going to catch Horror out of position. I don't think he's really going to be prepared or expecting this, because it's really kind of a rare build to see on this map. See anyone go Wraith or any sort of starport. He's nowhere near any sort of anti-air, so this Wraith should get actually, first of all, scouting, but also get a lot of damage to him. And I think actually the focus for this Wraith for Gretorp needs to be check those SCVs, make sure those SCVs stop mining gas, because if you're going for a heavier gas build, as long as you can force him to stick at the vultures and stick at the mines, you'll be in a really good position. It looks like able to clear one mine right there, but second guessing going in for that attack otherwise. Now the thing also for Horror is since he does have this second barracks, or this second command center up, he is going to be able to maintain a lot of the mining time, essentially. Even with this Wraith getting kills out in the field, he'll be able to stay ahead. Looks like that armory now being planted. Gretorp critically not able to stop that gas, but it looks like we're going to see a proxy engineering bay and a seal in. So it looks like the strategy from this point on is get siege tech, get those siege tanks out in position, counter the vultures early with some of that siege tech, make sure they can't really get out. Unfortunately, it looks like Horror already on top of this, and he's going to take that end around. Again, this might be unfamiliar to the map due to Gretorp's part. Maybe didn't realize that these vultures can swing around and get to this out position. He doesn't have any defenses in his main base, still only producing off a single factory. And I think right now Horror is going to be able to get a ton of SCV kills, and that's going to put him in a really bad situation, because first of all, he's been in a really gas heavy, tech heavy build. Maybe he can pull back and get this tank to hold the front door, but even this single tank is going to get taken out by all these SCVs, or I'm sorry, by all these vultures, SCVs, and that's going to create damage. I think that's going to be the swing for the match. This one fell swoop, just underestimating the map, underestimating the fact that the scout would come off the bat. Siege tanks trying to press forward, they're going to be stopped by these mines. SCVs trying to come off the line, which is really delaying some mining here, and yeah, just absolute devastation for, just look at all the SCV kills happening here. Even these vultures actually defending it pretty well altogether. I expected the vultures to get a lot more kills, but without that speed upgrade and getting backed up in the corner and taken care of. Nice defense.